Welcome back, fellow Overwatch esports enthusiasts. Zoe here, joined by Jake, Johnny, and Nori, and we're about to set the stage for our second match of the day. Qadsiah will be going up against Team PEPS. Team PEPS coming into this as
she's vibing.
Yeah, he's just living his best life. He's such a big cat. Like, check.
Oh my god,
he's ginormous.
That's a specimen right there.
That is a cat of all cats. And similarly big is Qadsiah. They're the top dog, the top cat, the top team, for sure.
So I don't think I've ever heard that one before.
The top cat. You know, if there can be a top dog, there can be a top cat.
All right.
Which is also just, you know. Are you a cat? You or you're a dog person?
Yeah, I'm a dog person. I prefer dogs. But I grew
Jake,
up with cats.
Cats or dogs?
It's a tough call. It's very tight race for me.
Cat people, put down the pitchforks. I like cats too.
I like cats.
I was about to say it's a hot take to say anything against cats in the internet.
Yeah, it's a tight race for me. I love both cats and dogs. I won't take a stand on this one.
You know what? That's fair. You don't have to have a favorite child. They're all great. Speaking of great things, second transition into Qadsiah. Last week, I was very happy that we got to see some fun new looks from Qadsiah. They tried different things out. You know, we had very entertaining matches with them against One Dip versus 100 Gorillas. We had Checkmate on a Farah, and they went for this Life Weaver Baptiste and then Baptiste Mercy backline, which was really potent, of course, together with that Farah. So it was really fun to see them experimenting a little bit and playing a little loose.
Did you say the Mercy? Did you say the Mercy?
I did.
I love it.
Johnny, is Checkmate still hardcore sim pilled? I'm seeing some of this in the clips.
Like Zoe said, like Checkmate's been playing the Farah as well. They just play like the Life Weaver BAP, and then they're like, oh, we're gonna poke. We're just gonna poke you with Freya and Farah, and you're gonna have to struggle to walk up against us. Now, they did play against Sky Tour in DVG last week, so maybe not the most competitive matchup. They're going up against Team PEPS.
Yeah, but that's a perfect place to like try out newer things, right? Now, Team PEPS, speaking of trying out new things, I was very entertained by their compositions as well. They took quite some risks. I think they had a Life Weaver Iliari Farah comp at one point. Did absolutely not work, like not even a little bit.
That sounds
but if it would have,
sorry, that sounds egregious.
No, trust.
Like, when you
it would
said
have been
my
so
eyes,
good.
Like, opened wide. I'm like, nah, bro. That's
like rolled back into the sockets. No, it would have looked so good if it would have worked, which it didn't, so never mind that. But yeah.
All right.
That actually is the Jaws experience, by the way. If you queue with Jaws, you get the the Illari.
He's like, I'm going Illari here. Yeah, I'm like, bro, I don't know about that. Just let him lock in. Let him make his play.
I feel like, I mean, we are having the morning games here in EMEA. You have to enjoy Brawl, because you'll probably see more of what we saw last series. You know, we'll see a little bit of Hazard, see a little bit of Risa. Maybe we get to see a Diva spot there as well. And then, but we have seen some Illari, so I'd love to see more of the Illari, to be honest. It's a nice.
We've seen quite a bit of it. Also, Life Weaver. Like I do like
it.
A little mint between the Brawl.
Yeah, a little slice of ginger, a little palate cleanser to warm you up for the next Brawl map in EMEA.
A little dash of flavor. Let's see if either of the team is bringing some of that. Regardless, we are heading into this match now. Qadsiah going up against Team PEPS. Guys, take it away.
Thank you, Zoe. As we jump into this one, we'll have to see what the control map pick is, what the bans end up being. I'm curious what Qadsiah end up playing. They're going to take us to Oasis, an opening ban on the Sombra. So taking away some of these like ultra high tempo styles. It also protects for them some of the Farah, some of the aggression that they might want to run. Team PEPS showing that they maybe do want to be aggressive by banning out that Baptiste. It takes out one of the best defensive tools in the meta right now.
Yeah, I mean, Zoe touched on it in the pre-game, but Qadsiah has actually been one of the teams in the region that have experimented more than the others, and not just like memeing around, playing the Mercy Farah and such as times, but Landon has flexed over to the Illari at times. They played like an Illari Brig kind of composition on New Junk City, and so they've been a little bit all over the map, trying to essentially find these niche compositions that can make a small difference on every single round. And so going into this matchup, I think we consider Qadsiah heavy favorites going up against Team PEPS, but I'm still very excited to see what Qadsiah will bring us in the series.
And Labdon, the signature Sojourn, could be a big part of that. And as Zoe mentioned, I mean, it's not all about the win here for Team PEPS. Just getting maps could be just anything that they can get to start to build some momentum. This is a team in the relegation spot against a team at Seed 1. This round robin, you got to play each other. You got to go against Qadsiah like everybody else has to. And so Team PEPS will see if they can get something opening here. No Freya on the side for Qadsiah, so they're staying pretty far away from the meta. Great spear from Ziad, though. Put some pressure on Ken. Has to dash out, and losing that flank control is going to mitigate you a lot. Labda punishes. No cooldowns left for the Gen.G. Labda with another. Uh-oh. This is a hot start for Qadsiah. That's not what you wanted for Team PEPS.
Yeah, this is scary now. Labda, of course, very happy to go over to this Sojourn, which he had amazing performances on in Stage 1 as well. And checkmate is Symmetra pilled, Jake. This could
I'm a believer, man. They're really good at the Symmetra. Like, they have this great mix of poking patiently, just like spamming those projectiles. You're a pretty serious damage dealer at range, but then occasionally when the ults come down, you get full energy on Sim. You can, like, it's one of the few DPS that can really threaten an Orisa.
Absolutely, and so this walk-up now for Team PEPS is so scary because you have to watch out for this rail from Labda, but also the teleporter from Checkmate could be lethal. I mean, a Symmetra into an Orisa as well. Very scary for PEPS here walking up.
Gen.G to the back line. Nice cut down by Ken. Double headshot on the Landon. Dashes in. Labda incredibly low. Ken falls up with the second. And Qadsiah cut apart at the seams there. Beautiful opener by Ken. I mean, just the dream shots back to back, full headshots. Like, you can't do much about that as Landon.
Yeah, that was clean Gen.G play right there. Beautiful. Gets PEPS on the board here. And as we draw closer to the first ultimates coming online in this series, PEPS, of course, slightly more Sunbury built here for FD God. Probably because of the tempo of this series, we'll see both teams start building some support ultimates, but Landon's got the Kitsune timing if they want to go here.
Kelix trying to farm up that beat. Gonna speed up in that TP to the high ground. Instant Kitsune rush as well. Putting Team PEPS on the back foot. They're bending but not breaking here. Gonna maybe retake with some of the sportals of their own. FD God has that Sunbury. He's gonna pop it. It's too late to save Tread. Goes down under the withering focus fire of Checkmate. Checkmate traded right back. And now Zerion is going to commit without rush, but they don't have a tank. They've lost the point control. And so the capture is ticking against them in this fight. It's a costly one. And Ziad just fearlessly attacking straight into this backline. Zerion's going to have to TP away to the teammates. FD God's going to die very late. And that early flip by Qadsiah in the fight so valuable as now they take a commanding position in the round. Point control, cap advantage, ultimate advantage. They have every tool they need to close out. And the sim wall is just icing on the cake. Oh, just immediate ultimate though from Labda. They're going into the spawn. It's kind of crazy, but I kind of like the little bit of craziness here. Instant two-shot there onto Zerion. And without the Kiriko, I mean, that's all you really needed out of this OC.
You can't get picked here. If you get picked here, that's terrible news for PEPS here. They're actually going to commit two ultimates.
TP it out. They TP it away from the spin. Beat as well from Ken's, or rather against Ken, stabilizing Kelix. Simwall as well into the spawn. Qadsiah is just absolutely pedal to the metal here. Tread running low on the cooldowns, forced to this edge of the map. Ziad says this is Sparta, kicks him down between a rock and a hard place. FD God touching, takes a nice rail to the back. Kelix gonna be able to clean that one up, no problem. Booped into the disruptor shot. Kelix gets the finish, and that is talk about a decisive round.
Yeah, and talk about decisive play as well. Qadsiah, they build that Kitsune rush. They TP engage right into PEPS, and because PEPS are playing this Gen.G, Freya kind of composition, they recognize they can't brawl against the Symmetra. They're forced to wait it out, and that mistimed beat from FD God, it's not enough to keep Tread up in that fight, and from on there on out, I mean, the round was just over.
That rush came out so fast out of the TP. Actually, yeah. I'm wondering, like, can you start the rush animation and then TP? Like, I actually want to watch this replay and see, because that was like strikingly fast. If you can, I don't know if you can actually do that, but I feel like you should be able to. Maybe I'm crazy. But if you can, then that's kind of wild. You like explode out of the TP with the rush with no animation is kind of insane.
It doesn't sound like it should work, but you know.
I think it sounds like it should work, Johnny. Actually, that's the type of thing that the TP is a crazy skill. All right, it breaks all the rules.
It's the small things that make a big difference. I don't know if you saw the clip of Funny Astro talking about how simple showed him the
the sideways speedring is big
because you get slightly more distance with the speed. Yeah, so the small things can make all the difference, Jake.
Yeah, some big shots coming in here from Cookie on these high ground players. Labda sticking with the Soj. Just a doubter of the Freya meta. Just playing for fun here and looking solid. Ziad takes the fight forward. Checkmate as well. Labda, though, taken down. Cookie on the off angle. Continuing to dump those explosive bolts. Gets some profit from it. Landon is incredibly low. Being chased down now by the D.Va. Struggling just to stay alive in the chaos. Checkmate makes a risky push. Has to get something done there. It's just a little bit too much without Labda, without your core damage dealer. Cookie is just free to farm on the map. And it's going to be able to have Bola shot basically online after the first fight. Qadsiah, the walk-up could be scary. The sim does really mitigate, though, crossing some of these longer angles.
Yeah, at least if you're PEPS now, though, it's a slightly wider round. You're playing the Tracer and the Diva as well, so you hope to navigate around this Symmetra a little bit better. You can kite, you know, if the teleporter comes out, you can kite reasonably. The point pressure here from Qadsiah, that is going to be the bad news for PEPS. You have to endure this pressure coming in from Ziad and try to find an opening.
Yeah, checkmate. Always threatening with those TPs. Here's the opening Bola shot. Finds Landon in the backline. Instant burst kill. Landon got absolutely crushing that fight. I wonder if he had the Suzu online or just got popped too quick for it. Tread takes down checkmate, and once again, Qadsiah sent packing. The sim is not finding nearly as much purchase in the dynamism that this round has showcased. Lambda as well has struggled at times to find connections to build rails, especially with all the cover available on this map. Starting to kind of worry about Qadsiah's choices here, but they're still staying confident. They're building up towards their ultimates. The sim wall could really change the story when it comes to recapping that point.
Yeah, we'll kind of see how they play this. Obviously, both teams with some great ultimates here. Ken has a decent opportunity to get a pulse bomb here, playing against a Kiri and a Suzu, of course. Here comes the TP onto the high ground.
FD got bullied away. Zirian forced into the rush. Simwall right in the thick of it, so it's hard to leverage the value of that rest. The beat comes in. Counter beat a little bit better from Kelix. Beautiful heal lamp to get people back up to full. Ziad finds 2 in the chaos. And the ultimate usage is perfect from Qadsiah. Getting just a little bit more value. The Simwall, I think, makes a world of difference. It's a long road back to winning this round, though. 80% on the board for Team PEPS. They have a lot of chances to bring this one back. Zirian on the Zen, maybe just try to break the spawn camp for a moment here. I kind of like this tech pick just for a second. Probably going to swap right back as soon as he pushes away some of these spammers.
Okay. Cookie with another opening, picking onto Qadsiah. Now Qadsiah, they have the kite.
All right, Cookie, I see you, Cookie. And nice boot, beautiful by Tread. Sends checkmate off the TP. Gets the chance to pick him off, and this is going to be pretty much an instant reflip here. Qadsiah just, they know it too. They've got to just fall back out of this play, but Ziad is holding on to the point. He has self-destruct, and he's making kind of a lot of time with this one. If he can get back in the soup, that would be massive. Bola shot wisely deployed there, but Ziad stays up. The heals are perfect, and he's back in the suit. Landon, Kelix keeping him online, but it's broken again. Lambda has to be the hero, has to find picks. And PEPS wisely backing off this. They know if Lambda doesn't find anything, this is going to be so difficult to win. Ziad, only 20% back to the suit. A major advantage. Mech available for Tread. What can he get done with this? A full rail shot. Could be huge. Lambda gets a body shot connection on FD God. Slips away to get some heal. And Qadsiah bringing the chaos. This is where they thrive. Ziad, 60% back to that mech. Kelix is low, under a lot of pressure. Gets flanked, purse down. Ziad still getting healed up, struggling to recharge that mech. The rush is going to be committed. Qadsiah continuing to fight this one out, but they're so low on players. Cookie continues to profit on this Freya. Looking for more and more, still healthy on the high ground, still dumping damage. Ziad drops the mech on Empty God's head. No way, Johnny. They're starting to bring this one back. It took him a long time, but he got the kill with it. Zirian rips the ulti. So incredibly low, teleports away for just a moment. The cleanse is going to keep him online. Cookie just doing everything he can, but Qadsiah will not be denied. They've held on to this point for an ungodly quantity of time. Cookie finds another connection with the Bola shot, but Ziad still strikes back at the Baby Diva.
And checkmate's got the Symmetra wall as well. They're still brawling here, but Cookie is going to clean up. Finally, it seems like PEPS is going to close it out and cap here. 80% though. Especially considering you have the Symmetra,
no
you should
way.
be able to walk up here. Yeah.
Ain't no way they
should get the
made
touch
that
here.
fight last 93%. That is so crazy from Qadsiah. So impressive from them. They've got to make this retake though, or it's all for nothing. FD got with a major beat advantage. Will PEPS realize the ultimate scenario and go for an aggressive play? Kelix is so close. Looks like he's going to be able to build that beat up himself. Team PEPS decide to play this one slow. Cookie has found all the openers previously, but Lambda this time strikes onto Ken with the full rail. A better beat from Kelix gives them a great position to close this one out, and Tread is getting torn apart. Full torque sim. This is the threat in the beat trade. Symmetra absolutely dominant in the tank badge. And now just Lucio Kiri trying to stall this one out. FD God trying to pull some attention to himself. Comes in for some overtime touches. Cookie looking to get something done, but Lambda gets saved by the cleanse, turns it around, and somehow, some way, Qadsiah just kicking and screaming full PEPS over the edge. 2-0 victory on Oasis. That is a seed 1 performance, Johnny. That is a 1 seed performance.
That's stall. Are you serious? They stalled for like 70%. They didn't kill Ziad when he was trying to remake. You get a remake killed onto FD God. Like,
On the Lucio. On the Lucio.
What just happened? And then as well, like PEPS, you know, there's a good chance they win that round as well. They got the cap with 80%, and then Alcatsia, they're scrambling to get back. They get the Sim TP out of spawn. But arguably, like, PEPS even had a chance to, like, be a bit proactive there and see if they could get a pick early. Instead, they fall back to the point. They give Kellex enough time to build the sound barrier, and then Labda finds the pick on Sojourn. You just can't give Labda that opportunity to find that pick. And from there on out, it's a 5 versus 4. You trade sound barriers, and Qadsiah close things out. PEPS, I think they had opportunities there, Jake, to really win this round and continue.
I mean, Cookie gave them more than enough chances, right? He did everything you could ask from your Sojourn and more, really, like finding so many picks. But I'm thinking back to these key moments of team play from Qadsiah. Both of the beat trades are significantly winning for Qadsiah. They have the later beat, and then they have like the heal amp behind it and the sim as well. So like they're just dominating in the ultimate trades. They're like consistently getting ahead in those moments. And then as well, I'm thinking back to these spots where when Ziad is demagged and gets bola shot on the baby diva. Cookie's like, he knows that they need to kill this baby diva, and then that they somehow from across the map, Landon like saves him and gets him back into the suit. That is like ridiculous that they're able to find that save and keep Ziad alive under the pressure of the bola shot.
Unreal. Unbelievable. Qadsiah, big favorites going into this series. I feel like PEPS, you can't let those opportunities slide. Like, you have a great opportunity to close out a round like that, and you need to capitalize on that fact. The fact you give up a round like that and now allow Qadsiah to go up in the series with a 1-0 lead, that's just, you can't afford those opportunities to let you slip by in series like these.
I agree with you, but I just feel like Qadsiah is undeniable. They play with such swagger and poise and confidence. Like, they just take big risks, and they know how to do that, right? They know how to just get the most from those risks. And when they go for a big play, it's like everybody's hunting, everybody's trying to clutch it out. When one player's continuing to scrap and keep the overtime going, everyone is still perfectly dancing, looking for their opportunities, you know, making it hard to get picked off and trying to find their way right back into the engagement. And then somebody finds something, and then they all just continue to put that pressure on. So Qadsiah, this is a 1C performance from them. They're up 1-0 in the series, but mentally, that's a rough one to be losing for Team PEPS, right? To have had that advantage in that round, and the way that stall refight went, it was just like, you felt like watching the feed. You're like, okay, PEPS won, they're cleaning up. PEPS won, they're clean. I think they're cleaning up, and then no, actually, Qadsiah is winning this fight. That I just unbelievable.
So we're heading over to Hollywood here for a second map, Jake, which again is a pleasant surprise. Like I said in the previous match, we haven't seen a lot of Hollywood so far this stage. And maybe if you're PEPS, you feel like you have a slight advantage here. If you could, you know, play Winston Ana. I almost don't want to say it because it's rather unlikely.
I love your copium. I'll have what he's having in terms of the copium, Johnny.
Maybe they got, you know, Siad, so maybe you're thinking Tread, jump on the Winston, my guy, and, you know, we'll put Xerion on the Ana, and, you know, they have to support ban here, by the way, because, you know, realistically, you have to protect ban FTGods Lucio, right? I know we've seen
maybe this isn't really the best Lucio map, so like, it's kind of a weird map.
Yeah, sure. FTGods play some Brig, you know, they play Juno Brig, you know, if you want to play Ana,
I agree with you. I think FTGods definitely a Lucio player, but yeah, okay, they are going to ban the Juno. I just worry about this matchup because it's just like, oh, I actually love that. I love that DPS ban from Qadsiah banning the Freya, because Cookie was, I would say, like the reason that second round was so winnable for PEPS, right? Like finding the opening kills on mid, finding repicks on the retake, shutting down some of the retakes from Qadsiah with his openers. I mean, Cookie was doing just everything that you could do on Freya for the squad, and Labda was just like, no, I'd rather play Sojourn and I'll win. And now you take away the Freya, and I wonder, for a lot of players who've been basically hard one-tricking Freya, now you're in Labda's house. That's not a comfortable place to be.
Yeah, I mean, Cookie has, you know, essentially like one trick to Freya this stage, like so many other hit scan players. So
I mean, it's everyone is playing it. It's not like a bad thing to be spamming it, and I'm sure Cookie's also a strong player on other characters, but Labda has been, I think, one of the most willing, and Qadsiah in general. It's interesting to see a team at the top seed be so creative and innovative, right? And be willing to like continue to push and say, we're not satisfied with the meta. We're going to look for another advantage and another comp and more versatility. That's a team with global ambition, right? This is a team that already kind of knows that they're going to be going to EWC and that they want to have a wide pool of tricks to be able to deploy to defeat the other best teams in the world from other regions. I mean, at this point, when you're 5-0 in the stage, you really do start thinking about the wider world of competition, and I really see the fingerprints of that, the way this squad plays. They're looking to a tougher opponent. That's why they're never going to take it easy on a team like PEPS.
Yeah, and I also think they learned quite a bit from Champions Clash, right? Because if you look, if
they were solid there.
React to Champions Clash, yeah, but they actually struggled. They took a map of Falcons, which is like, that's an achievement in and of itself. They took a map of Falcons, but they had some issues like what tank are we going to play? Are we going to field Siad? And they actually looked better when Siad came in later in the tournament and played the tank for the team, right? So I think they learned quite a lot from getting exposure to that LAN event, and now going to stage 2, you can build on that experience and look ahead to one of the biggest tournaments of the season, the mid-season championship. So yeah, I agree with you, especially they're flexing around, they're playing a lot of different kind of compositions here as well. I feel like Qadsiah is one of those teams in the region. You can never assume what they're going to play, because they have the ability to flex things up, and you have to be reactionary to whatever composition they are going to bring out.
The Sim Cassidy is going to be the defensive DPS comp for Qadsiah, and I actually think this is kind of a historic combo. I think there's a lot of synergy between these characters, and they're going to do a little intermediate spawn camp here.
Yeah.
I think this is a little, I don't know if they might stay here for a second and then TP out, or they just back off. It's just a meme. They're just flexing the comp. They're just letting, they're actually,
here's what we're doing.
They're actually just trolling. Like, they shouldn't show their comp. It's like probably just wrong, but they don't care. YOLO.
But I also think, that's respectable from Qadsiah. They're being active with the Symmetra teleporter. They're getting as much poke as they
before the
can.
map opens.
Well, okay. Well, they show themselves to the balcony. They just enjoyed the sides for a little bit there. But that shows you essentially
that stretching the legs, getting warmed up.
They're very dynamic in the way they use the Symmetra teleporter to always be active, get poke in, and try to establish map positioning dominance, right? So
Lambda putting down big shots.
Trading Cassidy shots here.
Opportunity for Cookie to find something. Takes a bit of a peek, but can't get a connection. Qadsiah happy to bend back. Playing this one a little bit slow. Here's the re-engage with the Fortify. TP up to the high ground. It looks like a fake here. Baits out a little bit of value from Cookie. 3 push is good. Tread is very low, getting bullied out. Drone has been forced already. This Rissa now just holding down into the corner. Qadsiah, though, continuing to play this one slow and patient, right? Their Symmetra is going to outvalue over the long fight. Ken has to find the opportunity to get explosive, but you pull the trigger too early, you will just be cut to pieces by this defending composition. Lambda, speaking of cut to pieces, finds Cookie in the chaos. Ant Matrix has been deployed from the attackers, but they're not really getting any purchase. Maybe they'll get one tick out of this. I think no reason to force for the first tick defense. Qadsiah give that one up, but once that window's down, they're just going to immediately retake control. And FD God's caught in. This is a little sketchy from FD God. He's on the Lucio, so maybe he can play his way out of this, and I think Qadsiah are wise to not over-force trying to get that chase down. But now they're just really choking him out. The Lucio's caught away from the team. Now they're going to regroup on this offense. But close to this high noon, the Ant Matrix comes out on the attack. Beautiful spear from Ziad, and he popped that spin from Trep, but he's so low, just getting crushed down. The beat has to come in from Kellic, so that's a nice value for the attackers to force out. But once again, it's a resounding victory for the defenders.
Yeah, very expected fight win from Qadsiah in that one. I'm looking back to the previous fight again. PEPS kind of kicking themselves because they had a huge amplification matrix lead. They drop it, but Cookie goes down immediately. And that was another opportunity for PEPS. We built an ultimate early, but couldn't capitalize on it. Now, they've allowed Qadsiah to establish this defense, and here's an aggressive Deadeye from Lambda.
TP behind is going to get the off angle. The beat forced out. Very defensive from FD God. They cancel the high noon, but that's a great trade. Now the blade comes in, but can he actually force this one? Very low, putting so much pressure onto Ken. He can't get any value out of that. The spin used defensively as well from Ziad, and Checkmate does have that sim wall. The high noon is out from Cookie, sped boot in, but it's Tread who falls down in the chaos. Checkmate still holding on to that wall, playing the off angle, TPing away. Cookie's getting danced on, and Ziad comes and cleans up. Qadsiah just absolutely tangoing with Team PEPS, and Team PEPS are missing a few steps. This team is just so sharp. Qadsiah with the TPs, immaculate.
Ken is going to swap over to the Tracer. Tough matchup here for Ken to walk.
This is a rough spot to be on Tracer.
Very rough indeed. I mean, Qadsiah are in full control here. They got a sim wall if they like to use it, amplification matrix.
Tracer's into the backline, but Qadsiah could just get very aggressive here. For now, they're gonna hold the aggression. Ant Matrix comes out from Landon. Damage comes in from Cookie, though. On to Checkmate without the Symmetra. No TP, right? Taking out some of the dynamism. It's a window peak now. from the defenders. Tread got absolutely crushed in just 1 second of focus fire there. Had to immediately fall back. Just barely stayed alive. Lambda, beautiful double connection on the Ken, riding the elevator and the sim wall. This is such a back-breaking spot here for the attackers to try and come in. Orisa forced into a tricky off-angle. Tread is dancing well, but he can't get any heals on this side of the sim wall. This is Qadsiah territory. Cleaning out the attackers once more. The bubble shield online now for Ziad, where the comp really, I think, starts to heat up. And I'm sensing a spawn dive here. Oh, Bap on the flank. Do they know about this? Zirian made footsteps. Did they hear that? Oh, and Checkmate scouts him out. Wait, he's dancing. Oh, Checkmate, you gotta watch out for that. Zirian chasing him down, but there's the Lucio, booping him around. Lambda gets the cleanup, and Team PEPS falling apart. Landon just gonna drop the drone and stand in the open, taking all the fight to the attackers. High Noon, good luck. FD God stuck between a rock and a hard place. 39% is all you're gonna get on Hollywood, Team PEPS.
Checkmate's brain is just too large. He's just establishing dominance on the Symmetra, flipping the map, taking the angles that give Qadsiah the lead. Small little detail, but I like the wall that he dropped his ultimate as well, because it allowed them to rotate into Cafe with their Cassidy, find the pick that way, get mobile and get active on the map. So Qadsiah, they are coasting. Like, look at these stats. This is brutal, Jake.
Yeah, this is some inspired gameplay, right? And like there is this one fight in that attack where Team PEPS, they have a big ultimate advantage, right? They have the beat blade, and there's only the spin and the DPS ults for Qadsiah. They don't have support ults. They don't really have, crucially, the beat to deal with either the beat or the blade. That's a huge problem for them. And what do? They just flip the tempo of the map. They high noon into the attack respawn, take the TP behind. FD has to beat just to try to stay alive into that. And then they try to blade and chase it down, and Qadsiah are just nowhere to be found. They're gone. They're like ghosts. They've slipped away. And I mean, just like the amount of pressure you're under in this game, not only across the season for Team PEPS that like to try and find maps, to try and get anything done here, but the way Qadsiah is just taking every fight to you. You have to constantly be on guard, and it's hard to even think about what play you want to go for. On the offense with the sim TPs, Qadsiah, this is a nightmare for Team PEPS. I mean, there's so many options for the TP, how you want to approach this. Let's just see what Qadsiah end up going for.
Yeah, it's so scary for PEPS because you can't barely play like reactionary against the Symmetra as well, because they're bound to get some kind of positional advantage over you. So you kind of have to play like decisive and quick to rotate and get into a position where you're making Qadsiah uncomfortable, but that's way easier said than
oh my god.
I mean, Jake, they're just cleaning up the map. They're just clearing things up. Like,
God just got smoked. Ziad into the back line, feasting on the weak DPS. Landon steals those kills away from the tank. And just wrap it up, put a bow on it. 2-0, Qadsiah, SD God. Oh no, bro, oh my god.
You kind of, I think if you know you're up against a sim, you kind of have to expect them to TP to the high ground, Jake. I mean,
he was going to like boop them. He was going to like boop them up so they could like, other people could shoot them. You boop them up with the TP, and then Lambda just domes him in like 1 millisecond out of the TP. That is savage, actually.
That was one of the maps of all time.
That was one of the maps. That's about as fast as it could go. I mean, that's pretty close to world record pace. Not much of an overtime on the attack.
PEPS got 44%, Jake. So
is it 39?
Something like that.
I think it's this. It's 39.1. I don't think they capped any more than this.
Okay. All right. Well, yeah. Checkmate, early contender for player of the match here. Like the Symmetra is just making all the difference.
Yeah.
The angles. Brain is
Jesus. Oh my God.
No, that's disgusting.
Oh my God.
I hope you didn't have PEPS players in your fantasy team. My God.
Oh my God. If you put PEPS in your fantasy this week, all right, I'm just gonna say you might deserve this one. You should have seen this comment, guys. Qadsiah making mincemeat of their opponents, and Lambda. I mean, Lambda is a shooter right now on the cast. Like, think about that opening kill he gets in a cookie, and that's like a window fight where for the attackers they have the first window. They're healing a little bit more naturally on the attack. They go turn the corner with the window. Cassidy's got his head taken off. He's lying on the floor. It's like, uh-oh, guys, that's not so good.
So obviously, if you're PEPS here, you're not expecting to win against Qadsiah because it's like the best team in the region so far. But PEPS does have a double header next week. It's the last week of the regular season. To recap, PEPS are 1-3. So if they want to avoid promotion relegation, they have to win at least one of these matches. And they're playing against VP and 1 dip versus 100 gorillas. And I think even if they beat DVG next week, they might be in promotion relegation because of map differential. We'll see how that kind of like unfolds, but they need at least a match win to avoid promotion relegation. And
it's way too early to be doing math on broadcast, but I gotta tell you, Johnny, I'm not an expert, but I know that the match win in this series is looking pretty far away based on what we just saw in Hollywood.
This might be like Zoe likes to say that this might be like let's try things out map, because I don't know. Wow, I don't want to be disrespectful to PEPS, but say it how it is. That was a brutal Hollywood.
Johnny, you know me. I always say it how it is. I only got one setting, which is say it how it is. and I mean, come on. Even Team PEPS, they know how this map went. They're aware. They were in the game. They were playing it. They were closer to the action than we were.
Do you ban Symmetra? Ban Symmetra. That's
literally ban Symmetra. Literally, maybe that's like honestly, they should. Honestly, I think they actually must. But then Checkmate's just gonna go Gen.G, and you're gonna get dove this map if you try to play poke.
Oh well, this is the map. Last week they played the Lifeweaver map or Lifeweaver Mercy with the Pharah. So Checkmate might even roll out on the Pharah on this map. And then you're gonna have to walk into that amount of poke as well. Landon's been loving the Alari so far this stage.
They banned the sim.
This is
that's respect. That is the definition of a respect, man.
If I'm Qadsiah, I don't care. I don't care. I don't even care about playing the sim on this map. Like, let's just play Freya far on the defense and just poke them to pieces.
Dude, if I'm Qadsiah's coach, I'm like trying to convince them to not roll swap for map 3. Like that's what I'm worried about.
Donghack on the tracer.
Literally, this is a Donghack tracer type situation.
Oh,
this is Ziad saying, "Checkmate, give me the DPS, bro. Let me take over."
Oh, the Checkmate tank.
Let me see the Checkmate Winston.
That's a Florida Mayhem.
That's an OG.
Wow.
No, but I mean, I actually like this pick in theory from Team PEPS because I feel like playing a poke style is like, it simplifies things a lot. It makes it a little more individualistic. Cookie has been a bright spot for your team. So I think this is probably the right call. Banning the sim also, you know, mitigate some of the craziness that Qadsiah could bring. And I think sim is legitimately pretty good on this map if you're like a team that knows how to utilize it. Thinking back to like the London days, they used to be pretty nasty with the sim in this map. Qadsiah are going to take away the Ramatra. Okay, so that says to me that they might want to play pretty aggressive. If you're going to play the pure poke style, I'd imagine you're playing Sigma with that comp, but I don't know. I mean, if they're playing Lifeweaver, all bets are off. If they're playing Lifeweaver, Mercy, or BAP or whatever, I'm just along for the ride at that point.
Yeah, if I'm PEPS, I honestly like, because I think Qadsiah are going to play some kind of like greedy backline and some kind of poke composition here. And I feel like PEPS at that point, you kind of have to draw an inspiration from what DVG did earlier. You have to maybe put Tread on the Diva, you know, Juno speed ring, like put FD God on the Juno or something like that. And Xerion's played a lot of Juno here as well for this team, but I feel like you have to step up the pace. I don't think you can match Qadsiah in the poke necessarily.
Yeah, I mean, I do think if they play the Lifeweaver, dude, what is this comp? Is this real?
No, well,
this is looking real, bro. They're walking out.
They're walking out on the side.
All right. Okay. All right, look, I won't doubt it. I won't doubt it. You know what, Ziad? Let the guy, let him cook. Let him cook at this point. He's so nasty on the Orisa. I feel like this comp might be better than Orisa, but you know what? Just play Zarya. They're putting on a show for the people. Look at this.
Double flex support, and then you go, well, they probably benefit from playing something like a Juno Diva. Then, you know, we got the Freya, we got the Zarya.
Yeah, maybe this is like a call. Maybe like playing the Zarya makes it really awkward to play Diva, and that's maybe what you want against these DPS and also the Ana. So maybe that makes it, in that sense, it makes some sense to me. FD God is on Ilari. He's on Lifeweaver. I'm gonna go with this is not good against the nade. He really needs to swap against the nade, but surely, they're committing. Well, you know what? Honestly, I don't hate it. Like go for broke. The way the series is going, but look at the poke. Yeah, you can't even play, man. You're just getting absolutely crunched on the walk up.
Or are they gonna swap to here? Are you even gonna go even slower? Oh, they're gonna go faster. They're going
up the pace.
You know, like I said, but
and Widow plus. Oh, okay, checkmate. Got punished. The Widow swap. A little over aggressive. Let's see if they can take this 5v4 to the bank. Ziad still gonna stand strong. Still has both supports behind him. Widow can be a big threat here, though. You gotta watch out. Cookie can always make something happen. Rocking that new skin. Looking very sharp, but takes a bolt. to the face, has to play this one a little bit slow. Counter pressure is heavy, but the card is rolling, and Tread is playing the D.Va. Actually, this is the correct choice. Fearlessly playing the D.Va into the Zarya. Zarya's maybe going to struggle to get energy there. Checkmate takes the bubble, but just gets absolutely damaged through it. And in the chaos, Kelix finds the nade to finish off Cookie. And now Ziad going to hold strong on the point. Lambda goes down. It's just 2 supports in the Zarya. But can she get this one done alone? D.Va wisely goes, starting to hunt that backline. And Ziad, you got to touch the point. It's so desperate, though, being surrounded from all sides. And now Qadsiah cooking a lot with this comp. But they're so low in the window just to slam the door on any kind of crazy possible retake. This is Qadsiah after all, so I don't hate it.
Yeah, when they lost the Pharah, it lost a lot of poke ability there, and Qadsiah were just forced to go back. Checkmate tried to build some charge for Ziad, who didn't have any charge at all on the Zarya.
I mean, this is like, Zarya's good against D.Va, but this is not a good comp to be playing Zarya. No, it's not a good map for Zarya. It's not a good, like the Widow is free.
Like, so they should have swapped away, but Ziad...
Yeah, I kind of wish they upped the pace, but Landon has ulti. Maybe he can set something up, get some bubbles to Checkmate, get some aggression rolling. Qadsiah cooking pretty hard. Landon on the off angle, making some space. The damage comes in, securing the dash reset, and okay, Qadsiah just roll over the attackers somehow.
Somehow. They find a way to make it work. But
they just swung the corners. I mean, then again, right? Team PEPS playing the Widow and the Freya, they have like 0 map control. And second point, not so good for Widow, right? It's a very good Widow map, first and third. But second point, you're kind of forcing it in this kind of a comp to be playing Widow. You're trying to take these tight angles and Checkmate over to the Gen.G, giving Zarya maybe a bit of a more clear avenue to get that energy. And Ziad's getting a little bit torqued here. That's dangerous. If this Zarya gets energy, this matchup really starts to change.
Captive Song? Oh, sorry, Bola shot?
He does have it. Yeah, I mean, see if he wants to rip it here. They got to worry about Tread looking to eat it. He's shooting it very far away from Tread. Tread, though, beautiful intercept, beautiful shots there from Landon. Very nice connections on the floating Juno. It looks like he's going to get a second for his troubles as well into the back flank angle. And the rest of Qadsiah swarming forward. Checkmate low on the CD. He's going to back off for a moment to get healed. And this is getting problematic, right? If Ziad can end these fights near 100 energy, that's a big problem, right? I think the sort of the weakness of Zarya in this matchup is sometimes you just don't get energy at the high level of play. People are very cautious about letting you get built up, but when you go into the fight fully energized, it's kind of broken. It's very, very awkward to play D.Va when the Zarya is pre-charged.
Also, it's pretty scary because, you know, Zarya will build charge here, and you actually can Juno speedring off the ledge if you want to get busy and get on top of the backline here as well. Yeah. So Qadsiah, they have options available, like how they want to take these fights. Now they have a grab as well. They have tons of ult material, Qadsiah. This should be a clean,
big grab
fight.
That's a dream grab. This should be it. Oh, hold on, though. Orbital Ray stabilizing him for the moment. Oh, it's not enough. Just overwhelms. And, I mean, I guess there's not much more you can expect to get out of that than forcing the Ray, right? Like, if anything, maybe Qadsiah having to drop that is better than they would expect. For the attackers, Team PEPS go over to the Lucio carry. I like this style. They want to maybe up the tempo, move past this front line and punish Landon, who should in theory be relatively vulnerable to some aggression.
Right.
But Checkmate and Lambda have the ultimates, and Blade is looking pretty terrifying in this fight, right? Checkmate getting some bubbles, speed ring. Tread is so low. This could be an opportunity if Checkmate wants to rip the Blade. Opening maybe with the Bola. Lambda thinking about it, looking for his opportunity. Doesn't want to get that ultimate eaten. Here's the Blade straight to the back line. Chops one apart. Cookie is down, and that's an OC thrown to the wayside. Kiriko, no skills left to fight that one out, and Qadsiah holding very strong for now on second point. It's only the Blade. Very stable fight, very clean fight. And Checkmate takes one more for his troubles.
Yeah, and Landon's going to build this Captive Sun here as well. Hard for Xerion to build this Kitsune Rush as well. 40% right now, and it's going to be a struggle. Probably only get one more Kitsune Rush to go here. This beat will be pivotal because, as you said, if you're playing this D.Va composition, you'd like to get on top of Landon if possible, right? And that Sound Ray will just give you enough survivability. But here's the Captive Sun from Landon.
Oh, beautiful cleanse. Yeah, both the bullet, but the shots are just too clean. Cookie's already down. The beat had to come out so early, and it still wasn't enough. The damage comes in from Landon on the back, takes down Tread. And this guy is just fearless. He's on God mode. He's the server admin, just running it down in mid, and no one can look at him. They're just being overwhelmed. Qadsiah hitting on all fronts. Ziad does go down, so without the tank, maybe holding the front line would be a little difficult. You still have 50 seconds on this attack, but the ultimate bank is running dry. Ziad will be back soon with the grab. I feel like you almost need to eat this grab, but that's so much to ask for by Tread.
Yeah, 100% here. Xerion's going to build this Kitsune Rush, and this will be one good fight. At least you got some ground here, Jake. You got some ground. And maybe now you can get some good value from Kitsune Rush. You got a decent position going here, but Ziad So scary on the Zarya, and that can't happen, man.
It's happening, Johnny, and the shots come in yet again from Labda. Now he's onto the Freya. He's showing what he says, oh, give me a shot at the Freya. Starts delivering. Tread does take him down, but it's going to cost him his life out of the suit. Some bubbles forced. Ken getting a counter kill, but also trading away his life. And I mean, these kills are not very meaningful victory. You could go for the solo grab here, yeah. Dude, just gonna take FD God out of the equation.
It's over.
Cleanse is used, but I think this is a good solo grab, right? You have to be forced to touch into this fight. And I mean, you just got an energized Zarya on the point. Kiriko trying to do it alone, but no more progress gonna be achieved on this map. Tread just getting absolutely swarmed on the point. Tracer stalling for just a moment, but yeah, there's this one. This one is beyond hopeless, Johnny. The orbital ray. I mean, the margin of victory here is out of control. Like, Qadsiah dumped 4 basically trolling ults into this fight because they've already won. And like, Team PEPS had nothing left.
Yeah, I like the vision from OWCS as well. They stick to the Zarya, and they actually utilize their composition to their advantage, make it really difficult for PEPS to walk up, get any kind of ground whatsoever. It felt like OWCS, they were always in control of like how they wanted to execute in those fights. It just came down to that very final fight where they actually gave up some positioning to PEPS, but then opening pick by Labda. So OWCS in full control here. Very clean defense, actually, with the Zarya as well. Just a matter of time. They can clean up on point A here and get the cap and close out the series.
It's kind of interesting, right, with the Ram ban, right? Because I think Ram would be the conventional response for Team PEPS to go against the Zarya.
Yeah.
I feel like they maybe should play Winston is like the next option, but it's sort of an awkward Winston map, and you need to be a very confident Winston player and really understand how to play that matchup. I still think maybe they should have played Winston into this comp, but not, you know, it's just like hard to find those answers for Team PEPS. So I think Qadsiah navigating the ban phase very well. Landon just profiting so heavily on this Solari. It was like an odd pick, and I was sort of questioning it, worried about it, but every fight Landon is just like into the back line, taking risks, because Qadsiah, this is how they play, right? They hit you on all fronts at once, and sure, you could turn around and deal with the Alari, but that's pretty tough to do when Checkmate and Zyad are just running it down on you.
I think as well, like typically you'd say that the Winston is a good response there as well, because you know you can bubble off the Zarya if you can and try to engage that way. It's a bit harder to get on top of the Alari or the Juno, but I think the Freya just adds, you know, another hero that is quite difficult for Winston. So much poke, Winston struggles to stay alive against a hero like Freya. So typically, yeah, I would have loved to see, you know, swap onto Winston in that kind of matchup, but the Freya has a different dynamic.
Wait, that play was so sick. They do it the pedal into the spear from Tread. Not enough to get the kill on Landon, though. The support is very clean there from Kellex. Bubbles as well, continuing to stabilize the position, and Qadsiah just taking some pretty aggressive liberties here, taking some wide swings. Ken is struggling to keep the pressure on. Team PEPS, they're playing an aggressive Pokemon, but they're the ones getting bullied out of this choke.
Yeah, PEPS now have to hold this corner and keep Tread alive and buy just enough time for Ken and Cookie to find these picks. It's really all pressure on PEPS here to find one of these picks, because OWCS, they're gonna be comfortable with Zyad on this payload, just beating up Tread on the Orisa.
Yeah, and this is a very energized Zarya. Tread getting a ton of heals from this comp, trying to stabilize, slow things down, but that big sequence of headshots from Checkmate is going to get the Fortify out. Arisa could be focused next. She has to stay on the card, so pulling her out isn't really going to work in this spot. The M-Matrix pumping heals, but the damage is overwhelming. Qadsiah, so many threats onto that Arisa. Farah can only hold the cart for just a second. The pull in from the Lifeweaver stall things out for just one more moment, but it's not enough. I mean, the high energy Zarya, the Gen.G hitting from the flank, Landon, it's just like an immaculately picked comp. Like, I think this comp is almost built to deal with the Farah Arisa style.
Yeah, because OWCS, you know, they put so much pressure on Tread. So if you're Tread, like, what can you do? You stand on the cart, you need to contest to prevent the point cap.
I mean, that is basically all he can do. It's like,
you are on a time limit, Team PEPS are, to find those picks required, but they just couldn't. OWCS, they play a perfect game, and now just one fight win away from securing the series, Jake.
Landon just throws the ult out. Oh, feels like he values the flight more than he cares about the ultimate, because look at that damage just pumping in. FD God needs all the heals just to stay alive on the Lifeweaver. Forces the defensive tree as well. Qadsiah can just back up off of this. They have used the orbital ray. Ken is a bit deep in the flank. Checkmate taking the fight into the backline though with the blades. Zyad dealing with the front line. It's a C9 to close out that map. Johnny, no!
One of the series
a fitting end to the series, I have to say. I'm sorry to say, but it's just the truth.
That was one-sided business as usual for OWCS. that they looked quite clean on Circuit Real with their Zara comp.
Yeah, I mean, they're so innovative. They play. I mean, they're such a fun team to watch. I feel like it's hard not to be a fan of Qadsiah. Like, you just want to see what they bring out next, what they're cooking up in the lab, and to be the #1 team pushing the tempo like this is a great sign for them looking ahead to the Esports World Cup. Like, this is exactly where you want to be as a team, dominating your region with a ton of flexibility. Feels like you're not even showing us all that you're capable of. That's the dream scenario.
I also just generally love that we see a little bit more Zarya. The last 2 weeks, we've had a bunch of teams in both regions experimenting a little bit with it, and this is a fantastic match to do just that. Now, PEPS, and
Cope for me, Zoe. This is your toughest challenge yet.
I cannot.
Cope
I
after
cannot.
this match.
I absolutely despise the way this one ended. I mean, this was just such a dominant performance. Like, there was no point in this series where I felt like, yeah, they got it. No, they never had it. That's unfortunate because Team PEPS has a tough road ahead of them.
There was that one round on Oasis. Hold on. Round 2 of Oasis. The first half, they had me in the first half.
Okay, well, but Control is still not a real game type, in my opinion. So, like, there's that.
This needs to stop. This needs
to stop. Spitting facts.
No.
Bit of a hater, not gonna lie.
God.
No. What Control is the deathmatch game type. You got to be swaggy to win Control. You know, the other game modes are more about your team strategy. Yeah, who cares about team strategy?
Yeah, Control is just like you shoot. That's right. It's like the insta-gib of Overwatch.
Exactly. But you know what?
It's fair.
Qadsiah's got shooters.
That's right. That's right.
I love Control.
Qadsiah are just like so good, not just on the individual level, but also like the hive mind aspect. They are on the same page. They know exactly how to execute every single composition we've seen from them. And at this point, we've seen a lot of different looks from them. So I think this is one, if not the most difficult teams to really strat against, because they've not really shown any weakness.
It's the Junkbuck diff, Jake. Am I right?
I'm telling you, bro. Junkbuck's the GOAT.
That's where the money went.
Like, that's a good use of your money, I will say.
Yeah, that's good resource allotment.
I think the best coach.
Sure.
That's my belief. I would work with him.
Is the best coach in the world?
I think he's the #1 coach in the game, personally. Personal opinion.
I don't have an opinion, but you saying that, I respect your opinion on it. Yeah, for sure.
It did not sound like you respected that opinion in the slightest.
No, I mean, there are lots of great coaches in the scene. So the fact that Jake so confidently crowns Junkbuck the best coach in the game, I think that's respectable, though. And I
think he would never say that, though. That's the thing. He would never say that.
Of course he wouldn't. Well, but the thing here is obviously like you have to not live in the past. Sure, there were a lot of great coaches, but currently you have to just look at what's on the table. And I think the way Qadsiah are playing, that's not just the players. That's coming from the coaching bench as well.
Yeah, whole team firing on all cylinders.
Yeah, they're firing on all cylinders, playing lots of different fun compositions here. They look like one when they played the Symmetro composition as well. I mean, this was just a complete differential here. So if nothing changes like in the meta, I just don't see how Qadsiah are not qualifying for the mid-season championship. They look like
the real question is, how will they... How will they fare against the international? I think they are.
Well, they gotta win the regional playoffs, or get.
Oh, true. Also, I guess they're close to securing the 1 seed, but come on, everybody knows they're gonna be the 1 seed.
Let's be realistic. Like, it's very, very, very likely that they are gonna make it to EWC. Now, the big question is like, how will they fare against the international competition? How do they stack up against the top dogs from Korea? I personally think very good, but.
Those are some very challenging foes, right? Weeding from the other regions, right? The other best teams in the world. But I think Qadsiah have just done everything that they possibly could, right? Like, there's just you can't criticize them for anything this stage, and that's a great spot to be.
Absolutely. We actually have Calix joining us now for a quick interview as we waffled to give us time to set that up. Calix, thank you so much for joining us. Long time no see. I'm not going to waste anyone's time talking about this match because that was a quickie and a very dominant performance from you and the team. Generally, this stage has been extremely dominant. What are you guys working on in scrims? Like, if you're at the very top with no obvious signs of weakness to anyone watching, like what's the focus?
I think, first of all, we don't really scrim that much, but when we do, it's just mostly just trying out some random stuff that we want to try, because a lot of teams have different play styles, so you will play against one team and try some stuff there, and then, just playing mystery heroes pretty much.
Yeah, so I mean, coming into a match like this, you guys are, probably the pretty heavy favorites, coming in and showing a couple new strats and looking very solid on them. Is there anything you guys are thinking about going ahead, or is it the focus now on international competition? Is EMEA like still sort of worthy of concern, or are you guys thinking about OWCS yet?
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to focus on like any international tournament yet. For me, I just want to finish this stage strong, possibly with a win, and then. Yeah, I think we are guaranteed first seed now, so I think that's nice. We just still have one more game to play, but yeah, I just want to focus on this next game and then the playoffs first, and then the EWC.
Kellex, I see the DJ equipment in the back. Give us a top 5 artists you're playing on the DJ set right now. Come on. Tonight. It's a
top
weekend,
5.
buddy.
It's Cream. It's like #1 played. It's like a Norwegian DJ duo, and that's. Then there's like some Hugel, Diplo, some other stuff. Bit of variety.
Oh, all right.
Are you streaming? You DJing? Can people watch that?
No. It's just for fun when I'm bored. Then I don't want to play games. I can just try out some stuff.
Yo, you should stream that. That's free money. I'd watch. There we go. Okay.
Okay, I'll do that.
Official request for Kellex to stream a DJ set.
Kellex, come on, you got this.
Okay, I will stream that.
That's right. Perfect. We got that sorted. We did it for the people. Thank you so much, Kellex, for joining us, and best of luck in your next match.
Thank you.